What's going on, everybody? This is Coach Jeff here with Asiamah Academy, and today I'm going to give you guys 3 tips on how to have that winning mentality. All right, if this is your first time here, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss any new videos that comes out. And for all my other subscribers, welcome back. So today we got a good one. It's a real good topic here. We're going to talk about, what does it take to win? What type of mentality do you need to have when it comes to winning? All right. It's the very same thing to having a lion mentality. Lions are always ready to win. They're always ferocious. They're always going after it. We're going to talk about what it takes to be a winner, more specifically on the basketball court. All right. So, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is when it comes to being a winner, when it comes to having that mentality, the first thing that you need to have is you got to want to win. And you might look at me and you might say, Jeff, that's pretty obvious. Like what do you mean you need to win? It might be obvious, but there are a lot of players out there who want to just play for fun, and if you want to play for fun, that's fine. There's no problem with playing for fun. But if you want to be a winner, this video is going to help you out a lot. All right, so for the winners, you gotta hate losing more than you love winning. All right, I'm gonna say that one more time. When it comes to winning, you have to hate losing more than you love winning. Now, what I mean by that is you gotta, if you want to have that winning mentality, winning has to be something that you want so bad to the point where losing is not something that you're comfortable with. You can't be comfortable with losing if you want to have a winning mentality. You know what I'm saying? So, that alone should be something that drives you. Playing the game to win should be something that motivates you and drives you to keep going and keep being the best version of yourself while you're playing the game. You got to have an appetite for winning. Even with me, when it comes to me playing the game and coaching the game and stuff like that, winning is a choice that everybody has to make. If you want to be able to really win, you have to have that desire, that mindset that, this is something that I really want to achieve for myself, and that's something that's going to always push you to be better without you even knowing it. You striving to win is something that is going to help you, improve not only as a basketball player, but in anything else that you want to do in life. All right. So that's the first tip. You have to want to win. So the second tip when it comes to having that winning mentality, the second tip is you have to give yourself a competitive advantage. All right. So when I say give yourself a competitive advantage, I mean you got to be able to outwork, your competitors. You got to be willing to outwork people that you play against. You got to be willing to outwork your teammates as well. In this game of basketball, competition is something that is very relevant to every player. Every player has to face competition in practice, in the games. You're always competing. And so you got to give yourself a competitive advantage. Now, what do I mean by that? Specific example, getting up early in the morning, going to the gym and putting up shots, working on your dribbling drills. Let's say you have practice at 4, but you go to practice at 3. The gym is open. You go in, you work hard, you work on your game. Let's say practice is done at 5:30 or it's done at 6. You stay later, if the gym is still open, you stay later, you keep working on your game, keep shooting. Maybe you want to get stronger, so you go to the weight room and you work on your body, you try to get stronger. Maybe you want to jump higher, so you work on jumping. Maybe you want to work on your offhand. Maybe you're right hand dominant, but you're not as good with your left. So you work on, left hand layup drills, left hand floaters, 3 times a week, things like that. Being able to do different things like that will always give you a competitive advantage. You pretty much have to be obsessed with improvement. You got to be always focusing on improving. How can I improve my shot? How can I improve my dribbling? How can I get faster? So So you always got to be willing to improve. And this is something that is definitely going to give you an advantage when it comes to the game. You're basically giving yourself the best opportunity to win the game. You know what I mean? So you can't have a winning mindset if you're not willing to give yourself a competitive advantage over the person that you're playing against. You know what I mean? So let's say you're playing against a guard who is a very good player. You know, he's polished, he knows how to shoot, he knows how to go to the rim. And let's say you're also one of those type of guys too. Let's say you also know how to score just as well as he knows how to score. You know, think of it this way, like, you know, we watch boxing, we watch UFC, and, you know, let's say two guys are going head to head. You know, they're both really good, you know, boxers, or they're both really good UFC fighters. Someone's gonna have to lose, you know, and someone's gonna have to win. And so you got to think about it. What is gonna separate the winner from the loser? You know, you can't really identify in that moment who's going to win and who's going to lose. You might have certain speculations like, you know, this person has a harder punch or this person has a harder kick. But what it's going to come down to is who put in that extra time, who put in that extra work, you know, when nobody else was watching. You know what I mean? Who created that competitive advantage for themselves? You know, so bringing it back to basketball, you're a good scorer, you're going against another good scorer. Did you really, you know, do everything that you can to give yourself a competitive advantage, you know, before you go up against this person? You know, guy or girl, you know, did you give yourself that chance? So you got to be willing to ask yourself that question. Like, if I really want to win and I want to have that winning mentality, am I giving myself a competitive advantage? Am I always trying to improve? So again, I'm just gonna, you know, add this in again. You are competing with your opponents before you even step on the court with them. You know, they're doing whatever they're doing on the side, and you're also doing whatever you're doing on the side. You know, they might be putting up shots. You know, they might be working on their handles. How far are you willing to go when it comes to putting in that extra time, working on your shot, working on your handles, getting your stamina up, working on your defense to get ready? You know, are you watching videos? Are you watching game tape? Maybe in middle school, you're not really watching game tape, but are you watching videos of your favorite player on YouTube? Are you seeing how they play? You know what I mean? Like, are you watching your favorite player? You know, maybe you want to play like Kyrie or you want to play like Steph Curry. Are you watching videos on them? You know, maybe you want to play like Trae Young. You know, are you watching videos on how they handle the point guard position? Are you watching how they shoot? You know, things like that. So having that competitive advantage is going to give you another great chance of winning, and it's going to help you continue to strengthen that mindset in terms of having that winning mindset or having the lion mentality. All right, so the first tip was you have to want to win. You know, that has to be something that you want to do. The second tip is you have to give yourself a competitive advantage. You know, people are always competing, and so you want to give yourself a competitive advantage. And the third tip, the very last tip that we're going to talk about, is learn from your losses. All right, this is a very big one because, you know, a lot of times, you know, people will lose a game, and, you know, they're quick to say like, man, you know, I failed, you know, I'm a failure, I'm not that good. You know what, I'm guilty of this too. You know, sometimes I'll lose a game and I'll be like, dang, man, like, I'm not that good, I didn't do my best. It's easy for you to beat yourself up after you lose a game. And I think one of the big questions is, you know, how do I handle losing? Like, what approach do I need to take when I lose? You know, and the biggest thing, especially if you want to have that winning mindset, is you have to be able to learn from your losses. You know, you got to learn from it. And, you know, perfect examples is, you know, what did I do? You know, what did I do wrong in that game? And how could I fix it? You know what I mean? So, you know, for example, let's say you had a turnover late in the game or you missed a jump shot. You know, maybe you could go back and reevaluate what happened. You know, why did I get that turnover? You know, did I rush it? Was the ball in my left hand and maybe my left hand's not as strong as my right? You know, why did I miss that jump shot? You know, maybe I shot it a little bit too hard. okay, why did I shoot it too hard? Was my feet not lined up? Did I not have my hands on the ball the way I should? So if you reflect on these things, you can easily go back and fix them so that when you're in that situation again, because you're going to be in the situation again, then you'll know how to deal with it the next time. Basketball is very, a lot of times you find yourself in the same situations when you go to the next game and the next game and the next game. That's just the way the game works. You might find yourself again with the ball in your hands with the last 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Are you going to turn the ball over again? Or are you going to learn from the turnover you got from the last game and change it so that in this game you don't get any turnovers? Another thing you could do is just go to the gym and practice. Maybe, like I said before, maybe you missed a shot and now you want to figure out, what, why did I miss that shot? The next day, you could go to the gym, go to the court, and work on that same jump shot. Maybe you were in the left corner of the court and you missed from that corner. Go back to the left corner, reevaluate, shoot a couple shots from the left corner, shoot like 20 shots, maybe 20 makes, for example, and try to fix it. That way, if you're back in that situation again, you find yourself in the left corner with, 30 seconds left, 1 minute left. Now you've been shooting this same shot after you missed. Now you have a better chance of making the shot. So the best thing when it comes to this third tip, learning from your losses, is figuring out, what did I do wrong? Did I get a turnover? Did I miss a jump shot? And just going back and fixing those issues, or just working on your game some more. And this doesn't have to only be about scoring. Maybe you're the best rebounder on the team, and maybe your opponent got the winning offensive rebound and they were able to go back up and win the game. As the best rebounder, maybe you wasn't able to put your body on them the way you wanted to. Now this is a perfect opportunity for you to either review the tape or just go back and work on some rebounding drills. Or maybe you want to just continue to work on your jumping. Maybe you want to get your legs to be stronger. If you're the best defender on the team, maybe, the point guard blew by you, or it doesn't have to be a point guard. Maybe a guard or whoever it was got past you and was able to score. As a defender, you got to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Was I too, did I stand up too much? Was my legs too close together? Did I not have the right defensive stance? So now you could revisit that play and you could go back into the gym and you could work on that. Maybe you want to do some defensive zigzag drills and things like that just to continue to work on your defense. Maybe you could just watch the game over again and figure out, what did I do? Maybe I didn't recover quick enough. It doesn't have to only be you as a scorer. It could be any aspect of the game. Maybe you're a hustler. Maybe you're one of those players that is, you're very good with hustling for loose balls, steals. You hustle and get rebounds, things like that. Maybe in the last play, or maybe in the fourth quarter or third quarter, let's say, for example, in the third quarter, you wasn't able to hustle as much as you wanted to. And because of that, the coach sat you down the whole fourth quarter and you guys lost the game. And you feel like it was your fault. Now you can revisit that. And, now you can revisit the game in your mind and say, what could I have done better? Maybe I didn't go for this loose ball when I could have. Maybe I didn't go for the steal when I could have. So these are things that you can think about. And as long as you're willing to address it in your mind and learn from it, you can always fix it. And when you find yourself in the situation again, you can overcome it. Now, I have a great story, very, very good story. Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, the late, great Kobe Bryant. Some of you guys may not know him. Maybe you guys are a little bit younger. But Kobe Bryant he's a very, very good basketball player. I know some of you guys know LeBron as the best player in the NBA. Steph Curry is a very good basketball player. You know, he's kind of changed the game a little bit with his shooting. Kevin Durant is a really good player as well, very skilled. He knows how to score with ease. But Kobe Bryant was a player that was he was very focused on winning. And because of his drive, he had such a strong drive to win. Um, he was able to be so great as a player, as a scorer, as a defender, as a leader, you know, in every way. So, you know, I have a story about Kobe. So in 2008, this was the year before I graduated high school. You know, he made it. He made it to the NBA Finals, and you know, the last time they got to the finals was in 2003. Well, the last time they got to the finals was 2004. They actually lost in 2004. But in 2003, that was the last time that they won. And so from 2003 to 2008 or to 2007, you know, Kobe had a lot of losing years. The team was very bad, and you know, sometimes they didn't even make the playoffs. You know, during that time, Kobe could have easily got traded. He could have easily stopped playing. He could have made excuses, and he could have just stayed a scorer. He could have never went back to the NBA Finals, but Kobe worked so hard, and he was finally able to get there in 2008. And, you know, he was able to get a really good player in Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol is another great player. He's a center. And once they got him, they were able to go to the finals in 2008. And they actually ended up losing to the Celtics, the Boston Celtics, in the NBA Finals. Now, when they lost, it was very tough because Kobe hasn't gotten back there since 2004. Right, when they lost to the Pistons. They lost to the Detroit Pistons in 2004. All right, so imagine just working so hard, you finally get there. You finally get to the NBA Finals, and you're this close to winning the championship, and you lose, right? So many things you could think of. What Kobe did was, you know, he ended up playing for Team USA, but only 3 weeks later, Kobe was back in the gym working on his jump shot, working on his drills, his dribbling drills, just trying to get better. Even during the 2008 USA, when he was playing for Team USA, the tenacity that he showed, the way he worked hard during practice, the approach that he took to the weight room, Kobe was always the first one in the gym and always the last one to leave. One of the players, I think it was Harrison Barnes, if I'm not mistaken, or Darren Williams. They saw Kobe early in the morning, right, drenched in sweat a couple hours before practice. They saw him drenched in sweat. So, you know, so the player is in the gym, right? They come to the gym, they start doing a little workout, and they're like, you know what? Let me go home and change, and then I'll come back and be ready for practice. So they go home and they change, and they come back, and they see Kobe. Kobe's still there, you know? And so they ask Kobe, like, hey, Kobe, like, you know, did you just go get water, or did you just go get changed? Kobe was like, nah, I just finished my practice from when you saw me earlier, you know? And so that type of mindset is truly, that is a winning mindset at its finest. You know, Kobe learned from his losses. He was able to evaluate what happened, why did he lose, and he was committed to bettering himself as a player so that he could help the rest of his teammates. In this situation, Kobe knows that he's the leader of his team. What other way can you lead the team than bettering yourself? You know, the best way to lead your team is to improve your game and better yourself as a player so that you can uplift your teammates and uplift the players on your team. You know, even as a role player, you can always work on yourself. You can always reevaluate and work on your game. All right, so, Kobe was able to win the NBA Finals in 2009 and 2010. He was able to go back and win. 2010, he actually played the team that he lost in 2008, the Boston Celtics, and he came back and beat them in Game 7, 7-game series. So it's just a really cool story. But Kobe is a guy that really shows you what the winning mentality looks like. And this is something that is achievable for all of us, whether we're playing basketball or anything else, whatever we do. These are 3 tips that you can apply to everything. Whatever you like, whatever your interests are, these are things that you can apply, So again, just to quickly review, the first tip is you have to want to win. Winning is something that you have to have an appetite for in order for you to have a winning mentality. If you're not really interested in winning, if you just want to have fun, like I said before, that's perfectly fine. But if this is something that you really want, you have to want to win in order to get that winning mentality. The second tip is you have to give yourself a competitive advantage. In life, whatever we want to do in life, we always find ourselves competing, whether if it's the corporate world, basketball, any other sport, whatever it is, you're always competing against somebody. So if you want to have that winning mentality, you got to be able to put in that extra practice in order to better yourself and improve yourself so that you could give yourself a chance to always win in whatever you do. And the last tip is to be able to learn from your L's, learn from your losses, all right? If something doesn't go your way, you find yourself losing, a good thing is to learn from it. And by learning from it, you're always going to be able to bounce back. You're always going to be able to move forward and better yourself. Another great basketball player is Michael Jordan, and one of his quotes is, "I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying." And that's such a deep quote because failure is something that everybody's scared of, and failure is something that everyone tries to avoid. And Michael Jordan, you guys can Google him or put him in on YouTube. Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is the greatest player of all time. And he failed a lot, and he spoke a lot about failure. And he always mentioned how it was how he bounced back from failure. That's what made him such a great basketball player. And so him highlighting that quote, that he can accept failure, but he can't accept not trying, that's a great quote. It just shows you that you always have to be willing to try. Even if you might fail, you can always learn from failure, but you can't learn if you don't try. All right? So I'll say that one more time. When it comes to failure, you can always learn from failure, but you'll never be able to learn if you don't try. So that's it, guys, for this video. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. All right, show some love. If you have any questions or anything like that, if you guys want to see any new videos, you have any ideas, please leave a comment down below. And please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos when they come out. All right, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. And remember, the lion mentality lives here.